puedo ir en ninguna cosa. No, no en el sol.
Today is a day I've been dreading for a while. Crossing over into Nicaragua. A few miles from the border, ran into a blockade. Over 3 kilometers of trucks and vehicles, mostly semis though, stopped, waiting to cross further south. Once I got past that, I was able to snake my way through all the traffic on both sides of this protest and make my way further south. When I asked about the protest, the best answer I got was that they were protesting doctors' wages and the doctors not being paid in Nicaragua. Well, Nicaragua is now a communist state and you aren't permitted to protest. So they shut down the border on the Honduras side, with help from a bunch of people from Honduras as well. They were a little angry when I first started crossing through the protest. They saw the flashing lights, the strobes in the front of my motorcycle, and assumed I was another police officer coming down. By the time they realized I was just a tourist, they kind of raised their hands and started to yell at me, but it was too late. I was past them, I was gone, headed south. But once again, over 3 kilometers each way from the protest site, all the traffic stopped. When I finally finished both halves of the border crossing, I talked to somebody who said they waited 4 hours to get through that mess. The exit from Honduras took about 45 minutes. Not too bad, but when all was said and done, it was close to 4 hours. There's a lot of reasons for that. One, Nicaragua has a requirement that you fill out their online page 7 days or more prior to entering the country. This was impossible for me to do because it would not allow me to move forward with the process unless I had an address where I would be staying and a person and phone number to call. I arrived without that information and was told to take a seat until a supervisor was available. When I discovered that drones were illegal in Honduras, I was already on Honduran soil. This was a problem because my helper had already helped me fill out my customs form and turned it in. It was either give up the drone and possibly face jail time, or do a little sleight of hand and see if I could just get through the country. Another problem I had,
This is it.
as I drove further south into Mexico,
No sign telling me to go in there.
there was much less educated Spanish being spoken. A lot of colloquialisms, nicknames for things that sound nothing like the words that I was used to. And they use a lot of different words. They cut the words short. This made it difficult to understand. What made it much worse was the money changers and the people who are trying to give you directions.
And here's where it gets interesting.
Don't really listen to what you are asking them. They interrupt you because they know exactly what you're going to ask, or they think they know. And this causes a lot of confusion. I don't know how many times I had to say, please let me finish my question before you try to answer me.
Permítame hablar. Necesito cancelar mi permiso temporada de importar vehículo.
The supervisor walked me through the entire process. That took about 2 hours altogether. After that portion of the process, they have you take all your bags off the bike, then they x-ray them. Using my helper, I only brought in half the bags on the first run, and then I had him stay by the x-ray machines to watch over those bags and my original paperwork. While this was going on, I went outside, took the drone controller and first-person view goggles, stuffed them in my helmet and up inside of the fairing, went in with the 2 saddlebags, Got those inspected and x-rayed. About an hour later, I reached Dariamba, where this unassuming sign directed me towards my lodging for the night. Beautiful little Eagle Lodge.
Good morning from Nicaragua. Thought I'd show you my hotel room. This Eco Lodge, they love riders. Very basic accommodations, very nice. But, well, let's see, in Bolivia they have the death road. In Colombia they have Trampolín de la Muerte. And here they have La Regadera de Muerte. The death shower, the shower of death. Just a quick warning, adjust the temperature to high right there before you get in the shower. Turn it to the lowest setting that the water comes on and trips the hot water. When you turn on and off the water, try not to touch the metal part of the handle or step on the metal grate on the floor, just in case it's not well grounded. Aside from that, these work great. Okay, there she is. Pepe, my little mule. Gracias, señor, por todo. Y voy a continuar mi aventura. Gracias. 5 hours and 23 minutes to Arenal. Of course, add in the time for crossing the border. Let's hit it. I would recommend this location very highly. Great little town here. I'm sure I could find breakfast right away, but I usually wait about an hour down the road before I try to get something. So what's the breakfast today? Despacito. For breakfast I want a burrito with salsa, egg, and chorizo, like my mama made for me. Okay, that's enough torture.
A short time later, I found myself driving by Lake Nicaragua. As it turns out, I spent about 7 hours driving through the entire country, and about 7 hours crossing the northern and southern borders of that country. I made it out of the country in less than 24 hours. I must say, as nervous as I was about the government of Nicaragua not being friendly towards Americans, the people were nothing but cordial, very nice. The views were great, the condition of the roads was great. The only problem I had was I got caught in a speed trap. I wasn't going over the speed limit, anywhere close to that, but I crossed over a yellow line as I approached one of the checkpoints. Had about a 10-minute conversation with a federal police officer who threatened me with a number of things before sending me down the road without giving me a ticket.
That was a very, very long border crossing. I'm going to say close to 4 hours, but that's because I had to cross 2 borders. It took me over 2 hours to leave Nicaragua. Full inspection. They fumigated my bike again, x-rayed all my stuff, all the paperwork to cancel the original stuff in a specific order.
Crossing the Costa Rica side of the border would have been quite simple and quick. However, at least 3 tour buses dropped off just as I was getting to the inspection point. I tried to do the temporary import permit first before doing immigration, but no luck. I had to go over, wait through that line with all those people, then go back and do my temporary import permit, which would have been fairly quick, except the person who was running it took a lunch break. They were gone for 45 minutes. When I finished all that, I turned around and there was no line on the immigration side. I lost quite a bit of time there, but even so, I was out of Nicaragua, I was in Costa Rica, and the roads are great. I didn't see a pothole or a speed bump for the rest of that day. Now it's time to slow down and play in Costa Rica. Time to have some fun.